What's up, you guys? Speed here, and today for this video I got two actual interesting news that are coming up. The first is this, and then the second one is the next one. But basically, what I wanted to talk about for this one is I wanted to go a little more in depth with this one because I kind of feel like it's a little more crucial to my interests as opposed to the other one. But essentially for this video, what I wanted to do, I wanted to go a little more in depth with what Steve DeKnight was talking about with in regards to the Man of Steel sequel. So recently, Steve DeKnight, who has worked with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and is recently doing the Pacific Rim Uprising movie, has recently talked about interest in doing a Man of Steel sequel. And I guess a lot of people took to the internet and thought that meant he's interested in doing a Man of Steel sequel and interested in carrying on, what Zack Snyder did for Man of Steel. However, he recently, put some things into perspective and, decided to actually go more in depth with what he meant. So essentially what he was really trying to say was that he wasn't saying that he was going to quote unquote go for directing the Man of Steel sequel, but rather he was saying that he would prefer Zack Snyder to do the sequel instead, since he really liked his work. So I think a lot of people got that into perspective, and now I think some people are actually panning for him to direct Man of Steel 2, which I'm one of them actually, because if anyone should deserve to do a Man of Steel sequel, it should be Zack Snyder, in my opinion. I mean, other directors can do it too. I think Matthew Vaughn has displayed some interest in doing it, though I think he wants to take it in a different direction as opposed to what Zack Snyder had pretty much paved the way for. But I'm more for Stephen DeKnight because I really loved the Man of Steel movie, and I would love for its sequel to be similar to that, but a little more, lighter, I guess. Sort of like a fluid transition from the first movie to the second one, rather than just completely changing the first movie so that it's rather than completely changing the second movie so that it's unrecognizable to the first one. So hopefully, I'm actually panning and hoping that Stephen DeKnight does end up being the director for Man of Steel 2, because like he said, he likes Zack Snyder, he likes his work, and really appreciated what Man of Steel was, and I really feel like he would definitely do a sequel the proper justice it deserves. But then again, considering how things are, we never get what we want, so I'm not really, I'm not hoping too hard. At this point, I'm just hoping for another Superman movie, really. That's all I'm just hoping for. Just another Superman movie would be nice with Henry Cavill's Superman and all that. But anyway, going into more detail with this, this actually brings up an interesting little thing for me, because I always feel like, if you're gonna make a Man of Steel sequel, then you might want to stick close to what the first Man of Steel had pretty much put into place, because I feel like after Justice League, Warner Brothers wants nothing to do with Zack Snyder's version of Superman in terms of the mythology. Because one thing I have to give credit for Man of Steel, even though I love the movie, but one thing I really have to give credit for is the mythology that it created for the Kryptonians and for, Clark, and in general. I like that they delve a little more into the Kryptonian mythology and added a few interesting little tidbits to it. Like, for example, the Codex, how it's in Superman, and through the Codex he can literally bring other Kryptonians back to life, and so on and so forth. Those are interesting little tidbits. And also, like, what they could do for a Man of Steel sequel in terms of maybe bringing in Brainiac, they could use one of those destroyed world engines, because if you remember in Man of Steel, the world engine's defense mechanism in that Pacific Ocean, it was literally something that you would see from Brainiac, like his claws and all that. So I'm thinking maybe if they use that, they could literally introduce Brainiac in that way. It would be a perfect way to bring him in. But knowing WB and how much they want to pretty much scrub anything that Zack Snyder has put his hands on, I'm pretty sure that little tidbit of interesting story development probably won't even make it into the script. Which is sad because it really is a good way to bring in Brainiac, but I don't know, WB, and I guess they just don't want to do that. Also, I hope that the next Superman movie they do, they don't just copy and paste what was already done. I hope they, elevate something, bring something new to the table. I hope they don't just go back to the Christopher Reeves Superman and just copy and paste that Superman onto this one, because it's not really any sort of growth in Superman's character or story. It's all just repeating the same thing over and over again with no actual results or development. It would just make it seem like they can't evolve this Superman. They can't evolve Superman as a concept. They can't elevate him into a better form of character that would reflect the times of now, as opposed to back when it was like the 1970s or 80s when the first Superman movie came out. And it kind of saddens me because I know that's exactly what they're going to do, because WB doesn't know how to... WB for some reason is very scared of taking good risks. Like, so far they've taken bad risks when it came to Justice League, but I think Man of Steel and Batman v Superman were some of the best risks that they took, and I appreciated them for that. But I feel like Justice League, they tried to play it safe while taking really, really awful risks. So, for Man of Steel 2, I just want them to do a Superman that's different from the past. Something to bring new to the table, like what Zack Snyder's Superman did. Zack Snyder's Superman brought a new form of Superman in, and yeah, it's a very divisive Superman, but then again, it's a Superman that definitely paved the way to do things differently. And unfortunately, WB didn't take that chance and, develop this Superman so that he can end up becoming like the Superman that we all know and love. So, I doubt WB is going to learn their lesson. I'm pretty sure they're just going to get some dude, some random director who just wants to copy and paste and suck the ass of Christopher Reeves and the Donner films, and just copy and paste what's on there and put it into Man of Steel 2. You know what? I kind of know that's going to happen, so there's no point in me trying to hope and pray that that's not going to be the case. But anyway, back to the main topic at hand, since that little rant is over. Steve DeKnight, I hope somehow, some way, if WB offers him the chance, I hope he takes to doing the Man of Steel movie and bring a little bit of closure to Zack Snyder's Superman. Or not closure, but I guess just bring me back the memories. Bring me back to that Superman who was in self-doubt but still believed in being a hero. Don't bring me that smiley, goofy Justice League Superman that we didn't really have much development with in the first place in order to get there. Bring me a Superman who has doubt, a Superman who has anxieties, a Superman who works through his issues and tries to make the best out of it without having to try and be perfect at it. Basically, don't make the Superman that Superman fanboys think they want. And I know that's kind of rude to say, but that's the impression that I'm getting. And I just hope it doesn't come to that. But anyway, on to other news. So, DC's Shazam movie is finally starting to film. As it says on the bottom. Along with this movie, there's also the Wonder Woman sequel that's also coming out. But yeah, finally, David F. Sandberg is finally beginning to start the Shazam movie. I think he introduced a sort of... here we go. He basically introduced this, which has the name Franklin on it. Now, I think Franklin is supposed to be... that's supposed to be, what's his name's uncle, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Billy. I think that's Billy's uncle, Franklin. So, I don't know whether or not the first scene they're going to be filming is of Franklin, or if it's just, some sort of stand-in name so that people don't try to barge into their set. I don't know. Either way, I'm actually excited for this movie very much because, I was never a big fan of Shazam. To me, he just seemed like another Superman that I wasn't all that interested in. But, now that I've been a little more exposed to DC comics and comic book characters alike, I'm actually pretty curious as to how this movie is going to turn out. From what I've heard from David F. Sandberg when it comes to what he plans to do for it, he decided he wanted Shazam to be funny, but not, full of quips and one-liners, which is essentially, but anyway, I would assume that what he wants to do is he wants to add a little more drama and add the humor from the situation as opposed to just one-liners. And he didn't. And now, before anyone complains, no, he didn't. He didn't use that as a means to shit on Marvel. He's just wanting to do things a little bit differently as opposed to what Marvel does, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like he was literally trying to aim at Marvel's form of humor. He was just saying that he didn't want it to just be a bunch of quips, and he wanted to add a little bit more humor from essentially just the situation. Other than that, I am actually excited for this movie. I know this movie's coming out along with the Wonder Woman sequel, so that's good to see. I really just hope that this movie... I don't know what I expect from this film. I never really read a lot of Shazam comic books growing up, so I can't really say what I expect from this movie. I know enough about Billy Batson to know, his character, and when he becomes Shazam, he's kind of like this boy in a man's body, and I think Zachary Levi can definitely play that well. So all I can really do is just sit, wait, and see what comes out of all of this. I just hope it's good, and since I heard Superman's going to be in this movie too, that means I'm definitely going to check this out. Since Shazam, I think Superman trained Shazam, or at least was a mentor to him, or his inspiration. Either way, it'll be nice to see Henry Cavill's Superman come back on the screen again after Justice League. And it'll be nice to introduce Shazam because he could be another member of the Justice League. So, with that, I'm definitely psyched for this film. I can't wait to see what it looks like, and I can't wait for more pictures to come out and see how the production works. I especially, actually, can't wait to see the new suit. Because that's what I've been wondering for the entire time. What is his suit going to look like? Is it going to look, as accurate as the comics? Is it going to be like, that's actually one of the biggest questions I'm wondering. What's his suit going to look like? Is it going to look more like the classic suit with the sort of jacket and buttons thing going on? Or is it going to go for a sort of New 52 vibe where it's a full body suit? Or, is it going to be something else? I honestly can't wait to see what comes out of this. Personally, I'm hoping they go for something like what Black Adam wore in the Injustice games. That outfit that Black Adam wore in Injustice 2, where it's like the big cape, and it's like he's sort of in that all black leathery suit and all that. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But we'll just have to wait and see what comes out of all this. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comment sections below for two things. First, what are your thoughts on Steve DeKnight possibly doing Zack Snyder's film, or if you want him to do the film? Are you in support of that? Are you against it? Do you want to take Superman back to the Man of Steel times and develop him more? Or are you more interested in doing something a little different and evolving his character to something a little more like the past? So that's one. And the second is the Shazam movie. What are you excited about for this Shazam film? Are you interested in seeing what his suit looks like? What are your expectations? Are you excited or are you not? Just let me know in the comment sections below. And thank you guys for watching. It's been a bit of a ride for me to come back onto YouTube. I've been a little busy with other things, but I'm hoping to try and put more videos out here every now and again. So, and just be on here more frequently. Just to, I guess, to do updates and give my opinions on things. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.